Hi everybody, this is Christine Bertram and I am coming to you live from the Hive here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. It is Monday, August 8th. Wow. I don't know about you, but these days just fly by and I'm excited to be stamping with you today. We're going to be doing the Let's Just Stamp card class, which is the one that I do in conjunction with Diane Bogenhagen. We designed the cards together and she teaches the in-person version here in the Hive on a Tuesday night, and then I do the online version here, usually on a Monday afternoon. So that's what we're going to be working on today, and I'm going to get my phone on silent. And I have always have millions of messages that are coming in, and I am texting somebody back really quick, and there we go. So let's see who's with us. If I got some comments, make sure I'm in the right spot. I haven't seen it pop up yet, and I always like to make sure. Oh, there we go, Laura Sullivan, first to comment. Good afternoon to you too, woohoo. So I'm gonna flip down and share with you the 3 cards that we are going to be making today, but I do have some announcements and updates like I generally do. So let's just see if I need to be on my Wi-Fi. You guys, I have a different internet in the house as I do out here. Hi, Melanie Foy. Hi, Betty Pyle. All right, so I am in the Hive. That's good. You guys are on. Why can't I find myself? Maybe it'll pop up here in a second. I'm so excited, you guys. There it is. I just saw the notification. Boom. Okay. That's always the first thing I love to square away, and I try not to make it obvious that I'm doing that, you guys. Hi, Randy Schultz. Hi, Sue Spiegner. Hi, Anna Rebadu. All right. Any room for bingo? Yes. Are you talking bingo on Wednesday night? Melanie Foy, are you in the area? I do have room. If you'd like to join us for in-person bingo, that would be awesome. Hi, Cindy Runtree. Hi, Julie Bierschbach. Let me flip down. So you guys, just, this is the class we're going to be doing today. So a bunch of you did RSVP for this, and I'll do roll call. I won't forget. I'll do roll call in a bit. Oh, perfect, Melanie. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Darla. Hi, Becky. So we're going to be doing potted geraniums here in a second, but I did want to share with you, as long as I got the camera down. Oh, perfect, Melanie. Yay. All right, look at that. I'm going to fill you in. Somebody from number 1 couldn't make it, so you are on the top of my list here. Perfect. I got you added in there. So generally with bingo, payment is due ahead of time. So since I don't know if you're in the area per se like Fond du Lac, but if you're not, you're okay bringing the money to bingo on Wednesday night. But just know I base all my prizes off of who is attending. So I'm basing you into that mix. So hopefully nothing happens that you can't make it. So, all right. Hi, Debbie from Central Illinois. Hi, Doris Munson. Thanks for sharing, Randy and Doris. I appreciate it. Hi, Linda Kester and Dot Gardner from Virginia. Woohoo. Okay, so Melanie, I got you down. All right. I told you guys we're going to do potted geraniums here in a second. Hi, Vicki. But if you missed it from last week, hi, Shar from Amro. If you missed it last week, you guys, I did, and I just published it yesterday. Kelly got my cover photo for me yesterday, like late last night, and I got the sale-a-bration Hoorah class published. And so I'm going to show you the 4 fun folds that we're going to be doing. Hi, Ann Van Willigan. Woohoo, from Kentucky. So there's 4 fun folds. And I got my little slips here. Let's move them out of the way. Hi, Julia from Missouri. 4 cards, 4 different fun folds, but 2 of them have different style, like I would say like flowers or colors kind of going on, but same layout. But these are the 4. This is next week, you guys. It's crazy. The class is August 19th online at 5:30. So if you can't make 5:30, it's okay. You still can watch the Facebook Live, the YouTube replay, anytime you want. But also, it's 4 fun folds. And so, Melanie, if you're going to be in town yet through the 22nd, this is in person on the 22nd. And I know you like fun folds. I know Melanie Howe loves fun folds too. Everybody loves fun folds. Hi, Melody Miller. Hi, Corinne. So this is one of the fun folds, and it's one of those, I don't know, I call it a flipper flapper because it flipper flappers. And so it features the hippo. And hi, Mo from downstate Wisconsin. Hi, Donna from Canada. So if you don't have the hippos, you could use the donkeys. You could use anything else. But you will get a piece of white paper to stamp something on. And if you have the hippos, great, because there are 2 hippos. Oh, my little flag moved. Ah, he's supposed to be like that. there, stay there. So you look at the inside, and like the guy's just hanging out in the middle of the ocean is how I tried to make that look. And then there's the sheep back there. So no sad face. Oh, Arliss. Okay, I didn't know I saw the sad face come through. And I'm like, you know what? If you guys have never heard the story about me giving a sad face to somebody, I'll tell it to you really quick. I was laying in bed with, like my head back on my pillow, and I'm like this, la, 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 looking at somebody's video, and I fell asleep. And as I fell asleep, I caught my phone and gave this person the unhappy, grumpy face. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, what just happened? Hi, Nanette. Hi, Carrie. And I was like, how do I erase that? How do I take it back? And you can't. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this person's going to think I didn't like what they said or that I didn't like the card. And I've learned after I did that to the whoever this was, that I did it myself. Hi, Shireen. That I'm like, well, people don't intend to give happy or sad faces. So I think whenever I get a grumpy, sad face from anybody, I just think it's a mistake. They didn't really think that, or they didn't really mean to do that, right? So it's happened to all of us. So before I did that, I thought, why are they being sad or grumpy about something I said? But now I know it's just like a mistake. So hi, Marcia. All right, let's put back down. So there's our hippo. So this is sale-a-bration, hoorah rah, next week, Friday, live class, Facebook, and then on the 22nd, in person. 2 times, you guys. I had to add a second slot. So I have a 6 p.m. and now I have a 10 a.m. And I already have 8 at one and 12 at the other. Woo, hi, Lynn Beasley. Okay, sometimes you can change it, but choosing another, again, you know what? I was so past that I couldn't find it. I was so like, when I dropped my phone and got out of it, I'm like, couldn't even get back to it. And I was half sleeping, so I just fell back asleep and I never worried about it. So, all right, so here's the other fun fold, or I should say another fun fold. And if you notice the flowers here, you guys, hi, Amy. This is the designer series paper. So everybody will get a chunk of the flower. For the whole video, you can go back and make it happy when it's posted. Oh, you know what? That's a great thing to know, Melanie. But I honestly, like if somebody doesn't have the time to go back and change it, I understand. So let's open this up, you guys. So this is this fun fold like that. It's like a long, so it starts off as a 12 by 12 and you cut it down to 5.5 and then it's all the folds. And so just a note on this, everybody will get different flowers per se because the designer paper has a big piece of all these big flowers. And so just to give you a heads up, you're not going to necessarily have that card, but you will have one that is very similar. And these are all the different, I made up all of the different flowers to see. It's so pretty. And here, like where some of them were pink on the side, I'm going to coordinate some to be purple on the side because the pink didn't look good with the purple and the purple didn't look good with the pink and blah, 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 blah. So some of the flowers will be different and I color coordinated the DSP to the flowers. And so just a heads up, you'll get one kit, right? One of them, but a flower that might vary. So that's one of the other fun folds. Now this one is what we did for mystery card. Had to do a guy-ish card, you guys. I got to throw the guy cards in. And so this is the mystery card layout from, I don't know, a couple months ago, maybe June. And I love the layout and it uses up sale-a-bration paper, which is free right now during sale-a-bration. So I love using big pieces of designer paper when I can during sale-a-bration. So that is the fox card. Now, if you don't have the fox, use something else. If you don't have that stylish sketches stamp set, it's really okay. You'll get this rectangle and you can put on it what you want. You'll get that little oval to stamp a sentiment. Hi, Jeannie Parker and Linda Bailey. All right, so there's that one. And last, I think, is going to be a lot of people's favorites. And I will tell you that the tree lot dies are out of stock. They are no longer available. But you guys, I had this card designed already a month ago. And I'm like, I'm not switching this card up just because the product is retired. What is that note? Make extra kit. Oh, haha, yeah. So, okay, I got to remember to do that. So I have to make an extra kit for the live because I put them together accidentally. You should do just a class on all the flower options. Well, you know what I'll do hopefully if I remember, I'll bring down the piece of designer paper and I'll show you how I get the piece of paper in case you guys don't have that one. And then, oh, Donna, I have to share that with you guys. It's a good thing you reminded me of that. So I will see if I can find that really quick. I hope you don't mind, Donna, but I have saved your email and I'm going to share with everybody the card you made from Mystery Night. So, all right, so campers, you guys, the tree lot dies are out of stock, but just know you don't need the tree lot dies to do this class with me. All you really need, hi Jean Maxwell, is a sentiment. And you'll need to stamp it on here because you know what? Anna has already die cut for you all your tree pieces, all your camper pieces, And then what you do is you just need to assemble. And again, this is designer paper, all from sale-a-bration, that is for free. And so note on this one that you'll either get the pieces to do a gold camper or a silver camper, because that sale-a-bration paper comes in silver and gold. Hi, Karen Drain from Erie, Michigan. Yeah, it's hot and humid here. So there's little polka dots here. And so you'll either get gold or silver, and that's the luck of the draw on that one, you guys. So just know, hi, Debbie Schultz. I have about 52 people signed up, and I'm making 68 kits, and I am set at 68 because I just prepped some stuff for Rana to emboss, and I gave her 68, which means I got to do a little bit more die cutting, Anna, but because I had originally planned for 56, and I think I'm going to add 12 on because we already are at 52. And you guys, I literally just published the class yesterday. So I would recommend, if you're interested in that class, to let me know right away to get your name on the list, and then you can always decide, you want to pay for the class, or do you want to place an order to get it for free? Hi, Doral from California. Yeah, Anna is a die cutting machine. So is Tammy. And Rhonda does embossing for me. Hi, Carol Schaefer from Connecticut. I am blessed that I have some amazing helpers that help you guys get amazing card kits with all these little pieces. Because sometimes you get the smallest little pieces and you're like, oh my gosh, somebody die cut maybe 96 of these. So yes, I'm very blessed. Just a note though, the class is free with a minimum $45 order if you're getting your kits mailed to you. So basically, you place an order with Stampin' Up! Using my current host code, which is shown below. It's also in the link for this video. It's also on my website. And once you place it, you just follow up with me with an email saying that you want that class. And if you do $50, you get a sale-a-bration item and you get your name on the board. And you guys, the board is full again. And I think the last video I did on, I think Saturday, I said that it was board number 5. Well, I was incorrect. That board was number 6 because I went back and I counted how many slips there were. And this is number 7, and number 6 was on Saturday. So, woohoo! So, Melanie, I won't have them kitted on Wednesday night. So that's the sad thing. We'll have to figure that out because my mom and I are kitting up those cards on Thursday, and bingo is Wednesday. So we're going to be a day late, but not $1 short, I guess is what they say. But I will add you to the list, and then we can figure out if you're still in the area and you want to pick them up, Melanie, or if you want them mailed to you. So, hi, Hildenal. Okay, so yeah, so that's that class. And then as long as I got you guys before, because you might not have seen the class, the ink, paper, scissors. I finished that one as well on Thursday, you guys. Early class today. I know, Hildenal, it threw me off. I worked all morning, and all of a sudden I looked at the clock, and it was like 12:35. I'm like, oh, go in, put your makeup on, go get something to eat, go cut that paper for Rhonda. And I'm like, oh man. So yes, it's an early class. So you guys, in case you missed it, this is the ink, paper, scissors for, this is the August ink, paper, scissors, but it is going to be held on September 1st because I'll be, yeah, Cindy, the name of the kit. Okay, so Cindy, to answer your question, what I just showed you, that class with the 4 fun folds, is called Sale-a-bration Hoorah-Rah. It's the final farewell to Sale-a-bration, which is kind of odd because we just had the launch party last week, but then Sale-a-bration is only 2 months now. So I do the Hoorah-Rah party at the end of the month. So if you go to my website and you go to the events calendar, you'll find it on August 19th. All the details are in there. Hi, Sandy Wicklander. So Sale-a-bration Hoorah-Rah. All right, so this is ink, paper, scissors for August. You guys, the lovely and linen set. You do not necessarily have to have that stamp set or the punch to do this class with me. If like the only thing that was used with the flowers, I'll send, oh, perfect, Cindy. Yep, I can get you signed up, is stamping these flowers, but you could put any other floral arrangement in the middle. And I have my helpers, they're punching out all the little punches for you. And if you don't have the little dots to go around the edges, you could always sponge the edges. So don't feel obligated to necessarily feel like you have to buy the stamps if you're not in love with them, because you could easily use something else. And this one, you guys, I did that same thing on this card. I love doing that double inside thing now. I just love it. Hi, Becky Christensen. And so you'll get your extra piece of cardstock for the inside for you to cut your designer paper. So this one is not one that you can get free with an order because it's ink, paper, scissors It's $30 for porch pickup or $36 mail, but I'm so excited. I haven't even published this one, you guys, yet. I got the cover photo and I ran out of time. I ran out of time. I will do that after class though. So that's ink, paper, scissors. So yay. Okay, so Cindy, so look at this, you guys. That's here. This is sale-a-bration, hoorah, rah. So we'll put Cindy on here right away. And you can still follow up with a note because I still appreciate having the note for backup. Hi, Kathy Jackson from Iola, Wisconsin. Okay, as long as I have it flipped down, you guys. I got some happy mail from Miss Kathy King. Yeah, I love it when she decorates the envelopes. You guys, I love that. It's so pretty when you do that flap. Hi, Holly Gentry. So glad catching your class. Did you see my recent email? Yeah, Holly. I think I replied to your email last night, maybe. I only snuck on my computer last night for about a half hour because Tyler was coming. He worked yesterday for a few hours. And so after we had a team swap party last night, like from 4 to 6, we worked on making Be Happy Stamper, like welcome to the team cards. And then I had a half hour left and I snuck on to post my card for Craft Roulette for Mary Gunn. And I published the sale-a-bration hoorah. But Holly, I did see your email. I'm pretty sure I emailed you back. And I thought if we wanted, we could chat today, and if not, email's good as well. So, all right, Betty Pyle, I can get you signed up as well. Yeah, check your email, Holly. If for any reason it didn't come through, maybe it's still in my outbox. So, hi, Marilyn Skorker from Vermont. Okay, back to Kathy King and her beautiful Hues of Happiness card here. Look at this, Betty Pyle. I'm not going to forget. We're going to do it right now. You're signed up for class as well. For you three that just signed up, we can figure out how you want to do it later on in life. Not in the way future, but in the near future. Hi, Rose Batasan. All right, so Kathy King did this beautiful, and she did a little flower on the inside. She did a square card, and she used the Hues of Happiness, and you guys can't see it, but I can. This is all Stella. She really stellaed up all of her flowers, and just a little note from me to you. And you guys, I got to show you this. She put 2 stamps on there, and she even decked. Look at this, you guys. She put a piece of designer paper on the corner, and they did their little meter strip right over the top of it. But very pretty card, Kathy. Hi, Terry. Can you show the Abigail Rose? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You guys, I should have done that anyways. So Abigail Rose is coming up next week, Thursday, the 18th. It's the day before the sale-a-bration hoorah. And I'm thinking I have 44 and 12. I'm making 96 for this one, and I think I have 70 signed up. So I have about 26 left for this class at the moment. You don't need the stamps. So if you love Abigail Rose, definitely get it. Hi, Debbie Schultz. If you love it, get it. But this is another one where I think if you have other flowers, you could probably get by. Like all your die cutting is done. You get your ribbon, you get your embellishments. You need a sentiment. I did stamp the little pink flowers as a background on here. That's one. This one, you need to stamp a flower, and that is the flower from Abigail Rose and a sentiment. But that die cutting is done for you. This one, if you don't have that flower, what you'll get is a piece of vanilla paper, and you'll need to stamp something and put it in the bottom corner. Or this is a piece of notebook paper that comes from the designer paper. You could completely change the card, make it go, let's say we want to keep it this way. You could write like a sentiment or a love note or like a happy note on this outline, and like write your sentiment on the outside of the card for the person. So that's an idea. This is another one. Hi, Penny Powell from Florida. You'll need a sentiment, and then the flowers and the leaves are stamped. But otherwise, like that little intricate die cutting is already done. Anna's got it back to me already. So a sentiment and some flowers. And then this one is that same flower stamp. Hi, Sherry Martin. You need the flower, a sentiment, and then again, the die cutting's done. Ribbons all included. Embellishments are included. The colors that I use for coloring in, you're welcome, Terry. Blushing Bride, Soft Sea Foam. And on this one, it was Blushing Bride and Pear Pizzazz are the complementary colors on those. Okay, so you guys, it's crazy. It feels like August just began. We've only had one class. We're on to our second right now, but there are 4 more kit classes where you can get my like handmade kits for the cards, either paying for them or getting them free with an order. So there's 4 left, you guys. All right, and that's about all of them. Okay, so this is some more happy mail. Hi, Deb Norman and Judy Bobo. This one comes from Linda Hall. Look at this. She used the Daffodil Daydream stamp, some soft succulent ribbon. This is the Garden of Eden, the Eden paper here. And then she used that I love that die. It was from Nature's Thoughts, maybe. It's got little speckles, like little dots along the edges, like stitching. And then she colored in her flowers very nice. Got some brushed breast butterflies. This one comes from Melody Miller. And she even put a little piece of designer paper on the inside. Very cool. And she let the designer series paper speak for itself. And this is kind of similar to a card that we're doing today, letting the designer series paper speak for itself. So she cut her paper a little higher to allow for the white to be on so she could stamp a sentiment on. Where the card we're going to be doing today, we put more of the flowers on and then added a little layer with a sentiment and a pop-up. So very pretty Melody. And this one, hi Gwen Petrashek, comes from Sharon Davis, and she's got a little raspberry stamped in the inside. This was the sale-a-bration paper from, I believe, last January. So like not like this year January, but January of 2021. It was the berry set, and so she sliced it at a diagonal, and then she probably, I don't know if that's top and bottom. Yep, then you can flip them, I think, opposite, and then they work together. I think that's how that cut works. Hi, Barb Johnson. So you guys, I got some beautiful happy mail here that I wanted to share with you. And just as a reminder, so I hold myself true, I'm going to be announcing the winners for these 4 cards when we do the drawing for sale-a-bration board number 7. So I have my little numbers here, and I have these cards. So we're not going to forget to do that drawing. Okay, so thank you so much, Cindy. All right, did you guys catch Craft Roulette? I know a bunch of you did. Hi, thanks for sharing, Pam Simmons. Oh, thanks for everybody sharing. Hi, by the way, Pam from North Carolina. I really appreciate when you share. You guys, we're growing our community of amazing stampers, and we love inspiration, and we love ideas, and we love the optimism and happiness that is in this group. And so I really appreciate when you guys share me and us with your friends and family. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Tammy Steckling. So, Craft Roulette. I know Deb Norman was there. Yeah, Deb, board number 7. Isn't that crazy? So I know Deb was watching. Feline was there. Sherry Stewart was there. And there was a few more people that I knew were watching for Craft Roulette. It was awesome, you guys. We hit 199 people watching at one time. That was a record, and I love breaking records with Mary Gunn. Hi, Ethel King. That's always what we do. Our goal, though, was to have 150 card submissions. I think her highest amount was 144. I don't think we're gonna meet that goal, but Doris, she was there too, watching Craft Roulette. Awesome. I think the highest she had was between 150 or 160 people watching, and we hit 199, which was great. Oh yeah, Melanie Foy was there. You guys, at the moment, it's hard to think of everybody who was there on Friday, because Friday feels like about 3 weeks ago. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, 199 people watching. And Mary told me last night that she thinks that there might be 132 submissions by the time she gets in. The patrons have extended period of time. They have till Thursday night to publish card samples. And hi, Zaina. So if you are a patron with Mary Gunn with Craft Roulette and you haven't submitted your card yet, please do that. The parameters were good. They all made sense, but they were hard for me. I will tell you, it didn't stump me. I'll show you my card here in a second, but they were 3. So the measurements, Randy was there as well. Very cool. Yes. They were 3 by 3. The colors were yellow and red with neutrals, and they're Craft Roulette neutrals. So, it was no purple. You guys, no purple. I was so sad. Number 3 though, which was awesome because it kind of goes with the red and yellow, is spicy was an element. And then the last element was thread or twine. And I went through on the Craft Roulette page last night before I went to sleep. Yeah, spicy wasn't easy if you didn't have hot peppers. And that's what I was wanting. I looked through all my stamps, you guys, to find a pepper, because I wanted to make a tic-tac-toe board using thread as the lines going, like the hashtag, and then putting peppers in. Hi, Faye Godby. Did not try to make a card. Yeah, Deb Norman said the same thing. She's like, I don't have spicy anything, so I'm not going to. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm glad you watched. I probably wouldn't have made a card either. But you guys, hi, Sue Somerville. I was stumped because the colors and limited supplies in your cabin. Very good. Exactly. That's exactly what it was. They were harder parameters, I think, for the overall populace. But I looked on, if you guys go to Craft Roulette on Facebook, people, their cards are out there. And I saw the theme, a lot of hot dogs and ketchup, and it being spicy and grill related, which was cool. Oh, Melanie says she cut her peppers by freehand. That was perfect. That's good. I saw pepper, like cooking, which is the route I went. And I saw ladies, like witches, that were spicy. Pumpkin spice lattes. Like if people had like the word spice in a sentiment, they used that. So it was all actually across the board. And when I started seeing other people's cards, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have had a pumpkin spice latte card I could have made. Do you have the set you use with the salt and pepper shakers? Yes. The set I used is What's Cooking. It was in the annual catalog from Stampin' Up! That just retired in like May 2nd. The annual catalog retired. It was the What's Cooking. And so my card was this one. And so my 3x3 was, I did a little mini card on the base, right? And so when you open it up, you got a little 3x3 mat. Well, it's a little sly of a 3x3 mat. And then my pepper is here, use letters to spell spicy. Exactly. Yep. So that's what people were doing. They could spell the word spicy as well. So my thread, thanks to Deb Norman. You guys, oh my God. What was going through my head was, I'm going to make it like a retro-y measuring cup set, like yellow from the 70s. Well, when you put that color of a measuring cup on the card, it looked horrible. And then Deb Norman threw out there, well, why don't you color your linen thread with a yellow marker? And I'm like, oh, so I did a double whammy. My linen thread is yellow. And so that filled out the yellow and the thread or twine. And then my spicy is the pepper, and my 3x3 is on here. So, you know, it was probably a card I would never have made in my entire life had I not done Craft Roulette. But that's what the whole purpose is, to get you being creative and inspiring you to make something that you would never have made. So, whoo, hi, Gail. All right, so that was Craft Roulette. So if you have a moment to go out and do a card yet, you can. Donna Simmer, I had said I wanted to share something that you shared with me. And so Donna Simmer made a card for Mystery Card Night, and I wanted to share this, and she said it was okay because I inspired her, and I love it. So I'm going to show you guys what she did. I'm going to read to you what she wrote, and this is what it's all about, you guys. So she wrote, just wanted to show you how much you have inspired me. I made this card late last year for a singer-songwriter friend whose birthday is coming up soon. I modified it using the June mystery card for the layout. As you can see from the DSP and the stamp, I've started a little Stampin' Up! Collection. So she had drawn this guitar, and because her friend is a singer-songwriter, and then she put it together on a card, and it was the layout from the Mystery Card Night from June. And so the panel opens one way, and the panel opens the other way, and then she's got her guitar on there. So it turned out awesome, you guys. I love sharing these kind of stories. The other one, too, is from Jean Terwilliger. I want to share that with you, too. Let's find what Jean wrote. Hang on, Jean Terwilliger. She had said this to me yesterday. Oh, that's not Jean. Let's see here. Jean, hang on. You guys got to see all my messages. Hang on. We'll find Jean. Jean shared with me yesterday, here, this one. She wrote, I just wanted to thank you for your recent Tip Tuesday. So we talked last week Tuesday about conditioning, or it was 2 Tuesdays ago, about conditioning stamps. So this is what she usually did. Usually she just stamps multiple times on scrap paper to try to prep the stamps, but it's a long process. Today I stamped the horse-drawn carriage and it wasn't clear. I used the sand eraser like you showed, and the new image was gorgeous. I don't have to waste a bunch of ink stamping off multiple times. And so here's her picture that she shared. So in the bit, you know, from you guys seeing this, it's really hard to see, but the horse-drawn carriage here, that was how it was originally. And you can see it's like splotchy. And then after cleaning it, like the visibility of it came through fabulously. And that was because of the Tip Tuesday, conditioning your stamps with either like an ink eraser, or you can use, some people use your eraser from a pencil. And what it is, if you guys missed it, you can go back and watch it, but you're basically like roughing up or like scuffing up your stamp ever so slightly. And it especially needs to be done with those stamps that are solid, like solid images, like like something like this lighthouse, that whole gray section is such a solid stamp. And if it doesn't stamp nicely, you got to condition your stamp. And so even if anytime it doesn't stamp good, you just want to condition your stamp. So a Tip Tuesday came through for somebody, Jean, and I'm sure hopefully it helped others as well. So perfect. Okay. Hi, Judy Wyant. Okay. So now you guys, I think that's everything I wanted to share with you. So Donna Simmer, see, I got a Post-it note that I want to share that. We're going to do the Let's Just Stamp. So we've been doing Let's Just Stamp. Now this class was the brainchild of Tyler, in all honesty. I used to do a beginner's class way back in the beginning when I started doing classes, probably in 2016. And it kind of fell by the wayside, right? Because I had other classes going on and people like more in their cards. And so all of a sudden I started making, hi, Debbie. Oh, I already said hi to you, but you love the Tip Tuesday. Yay. So what happened then is Tyler reached out, like my boyfriend's Tyler, and he said to me, you should do a class for beginners because you do such detailed, intricate cards. Like sometimes that might be overwhelming and scare people away if they're just starting out. And he's like, you should do a class for beginners. And that's where this kind of stemmed from. Yes, I don't condition all of them, Debbie. I do them if they need it. You need to do it with photopolymer too. That terrier, the Scottish, the Christmas Scotty stamp set, that dog is such a solid stamp. That was when we first figured out, oh my gosh, like people don't know they need to condition stamps because we were here working with that stamp and it wasn't good. And I told people, well, we need to condition it. And so it turned into a Tip Tuesday. So it was 2 weeks ago tomorrow. If you go back and watch that Tip Tuesday, you definitely can get some tips on there. Ink eraser, sometimes I use, even you could use maybe an adhesive eraser. There's residue on it. So you just need to get it cleaned up. So I thought, well, one more class, okay. And so I'm like, I can do it, but I need help. So I offered to Diane Bogenhagen if she'd want to do the class with me, where she'd do, hi, Stacy Burns, she'd do the in-person. And some of you guys have heard this already, but for those, there's some new people that are watching, right? You don't always hear the story. So Diane does the in-person version. I do this online version. She makes up the kits for her students that come to class, and then I do the kits for the people that get the online. And it works because she does the class here on a Tuesday night when it's date night, because usually I have class in here Monday or Wednesday or Thursday and sometimes Fridays, right? And then Saturdays. And so the only night that was free for her, so she does it on Tuesdays. And we design the cards together. We sit side by side, or I should say across from each other, and we design them. So they're the input of both of our brains for our creative juices. And our number one goal was always to be a beautiful, nice card, not too crazy in terms of that we didn't want it to overwhelm beginners. It's been hard doing that because it's just hard. It's hard to like stop, right? Because you're like, oh, let's add this or let's add this. But our main goal is that we do not use the die cutting machine because that is an investment that most beginners don't generally have. And so there's never embossing on the cards, and there's not die cutting. Not to say we don't use sets that don't have die cuts, because we do. Like this one today has a die set. So for those of you that do end up getting the dies, you could definitely die cut yours, but we have it set up that you fussy cut. And you know what? When you're first starting out stamping, you don't have the die machine, so you need to fussy cut. And fussy cutting, people ask, what is fussy cutting? Well, it's taking your scissors and fussy cutting around things, right? Hi, Lisa Spacek. Hi, Patricia Piscopio. So keep that in mind. And the other thing, in the video description, I shared a link with you guys. The first Let's Just Stamp I ever did was July of last year. And I did an hour's worth of introduction that really would potentially, I think, help a beginner stamper. And so if you're newer to stamping, or maybe you're not new, but you don't know if you know everything, and I don't go over everything, so don't get me wrong there, but it doesn't hurt to listen to it. But I talk about what do you need for stamping, like what different paper. I talk about cutting tools and adhesives. I talk about inks and the different types of stamps. And I did that hour in depth, and I felt like, wow, I don't need to do that every time we do a Let's Just Stamp, because that's the magic of video, that you can go back and watch it. And so I've always included that link so you could go back and check that out. And if you ever are newer and you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that you can work with that's local to you or not local, whoever, if you have somebody, I don't want to like necessarily take you away from anybody, but if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that you work with, I love to teach and train and help, and watching my videos and is a great way that I kind of show you in depth how I do things. But if you don't have somebody that you are working with and purchase product from, or need help making decisions on what should I buy first or what do I need, I would love to help you with that. Hi, Joyce Carter. I'd love to earn your loyalty and your purchases. So it helps me to keep doing what I'm doing when I have people that purchase their Stampin' Up! Product from me. And also, when you get your products through me, you are eligible to get free classes from me where I mail the kits to you in the mail. And so you can make them with me. It's kind of hard sometimes because I work at a little faster speed, but just know that the replay is always there for you to refer back to, and everybody who signs up for one of my classes gets the PDF tutorials. So just a little nutshell about all that. So, but I'm excited. Are you excited? We're gonna make some awesome cards today. And just a reminder for those that are new, you don't feel rushed or obligated to have to like finish when I finish. I just know that a lot of people watch the video, ask questions throughout it, and are potentially working on other things while they're doing it, because then they'll go back and know what to do when they put their card kits together. So that's always a little piece of advice that people have told me to kind of reiterate to people that are newer. So yeah, all right, so let's flip down and show you the cards again. We're gonna be doing these 3. Now, for those of you guys who got kits from me, just know you have 9 butterflies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And how the butterflies come, they come 8 in a row, or I should say a column. So everybody got a column plus 1, okay? And they're all in one kit. I think that they're in, I don't remember. Oh, somebody will tell me when we're live here, because I could go run up and get a kit. Oh, and speaking of the kits for this class, if you think you missed out on this class, you are very wrong. I over forecasted by a bunch. And so I think I actually have 17 sets of these cards left. We did 40 for the Wildlife Wonder last month. So I thought, well, let's make 36. Well, I have 17 left. So over half of them have been accounted for. But if you are thinking about placing an order, and after you see me do the class and you think you would like a set of kits, I most definitely will have a set of kits, and this will probably stay as past kits available until they're gone. So, oh yeah. Hi, Gail Weirson. All right, so butterflies are in one of your kits. And we are going to start with the easy one, because I think that it will work from this one to this one to the last one. And I'll tell you, when Diane and I were designing these cards, we're like, okay, well, we're using the potted geraniums, but there's only one set of, pots and flowers. And so she has a set and I have a set. And we designed this card first, and we're like, whoa, that's a lot going on for people. Hopefully it's not too much. And then we went to one where there's no die cutting of the flowers, but just the little pick. And then we're like, gosh, we're good with the potted geraniums, but we used the Awash in Beauty designer paper in all these cards, and we really wanted to use that pretty focal image here with the flowers. This is not stamped. This is the paper. So you should have that in your kit, a section of that paper, and all you'll have to do is stamp a sentiment here. So this just shows you, if you are a beginner, this is an ultimately awesome first beginner card to make. So we're going to start with that one. Colors here, you guys, for inks to have them out are Mary Merlot, Old Olive, Crumb Cake, Soft Suede, Mary Merlot, Polished Pink, Pear Pizzazz, and then Mango Action. I didn't pull that out. So we're going to start with this one, and we'll grab our kit. So what you guys, if you're wondering, if you're new to me, what do you get in your kit? You get an envelope. I do provide envelopes with all my card kits. Anything die cut or embossed is done that way, except for if there's a focal image that needs to be done. So in this case, you guys, you'll have your piece of Mary Merlot, Mossy Meadow cardstock. Yours are folded because they're in your envelopes, but I always recommend you take your bone folder and burnish the edge. What that does is it creates a nice crisp edge on the side, so it doesn't have like a little rolled edge. You'll have some paper in here. So you'll have your Mary Merlot for your inside and your white for your inside. So Diane and I, Diane especially, whenever I design cards with her, she fights for it and she always gets the double matting. So, or I should say matting on the inside. So that's why you have 2 pieces of Mary Merlot. It just adds to the inside of the card. As you can see, I always put my inside on the back, so it's easy just to flip over and see what's stamped on the inside. So then you'll have another Mary Merlot for the top, and then you have a piece of designer paper for over that to mat it. So the Mary Merlots are a traditional size. They're 4 by 5 1/4. And then the designer paper is slightly less. Not a full 1/4 inch off of each side, but 3/16, just so that the trim is a little bit, a little less that you can see. And then you'll also in your kit, you'll have a piece of Mary Merlot and a piece of white. Now, if you ever get something from me and it might look like it's slightly crooked, sometimes when I put stuff into my cutter, it kind of gives it that little slants to it. No fretting though, you guys. You can always, if you see that and catch that before you start gluing, you can always take your trimmer, like I did it on my kit here, I can see it for you guys. So you just take your trimmer and you can just trim off that little part that's crooked. So one of the things that I always recommend when you guys take a class with me, or if you're cutting paper yourself, before you get gluing stuff, it's always good to just look at things to make sure they line up good. And then you can always trim things if they need it before you start gluing. Because if you would have put glue on this right away and glued it and something was a little crooked, you would be sad because now how do you fix it, right? So it's good to always just kind of eyeball things up and make sure they're right. I do know that from time to time when I put things in my trimmer, it can be like a hair off. So the other thing that should be in your kit is some ribbon. And there's some old olive ribbon, and I think I had noted 4 inches. So let me go grab that really quick. I had it over yonder here. So you have 4 inches. And I'm going to show you why 4 inches is enough. So for those of you, you run your bone folder over it. You can run your bone folder over it. I think you're meaning the scoring. Marilyn, I'm not sure. But you might think, wow, that's not enough ribbon to do what I have done here. But wait, see how I do the ribbon, and you'll see that 4 inches is enough. Because basically the ribbon is, it's woven back and forth on each side with no ribbon in the middle. So, all right, so that's that. And then let's get stamping. So birthdays are reminders that life should be celebrated. And that is so true. Hi, Vicki Sloan. So this is the stamp set. Everything that I'm using for stamps is basically out of this stamp set. There are dies that go with it. If you do want to purchase this as a bundle, you save 10%. And if you just want the stamps or just the dies, you can get them individually as well. So let's all go to A and W. No, just kidding. The paper, you can run your bone folder over it. Were you referring to it being, I'm not quite sure what you were referring to with running the bone folder over it. I'm not sure if you meant, I know you said paper, but my mind is already on to the next thing. Oh, so the other thing too, you guys can see that we used a different stamp on the inside. You know, we like to do stamping on the inside. And I'm trying to remember where that little guy came. Oh, teacup. Okay, I wrote a little note. Nice. So the teacup stamp set has this foliage leaf in it, and you could definitely put something on the inside. Now, we're going to go ahead for the class today, and we're just going to put the pot on it with some flowers because we can. I think for in-person, we decided to do that because we already have the pot on the inside of the other 2 cards, and that's a lot to have that passing around. Diana's a very full class, you guys. She has 16 people signed up. People are excited about these cards. But grab your inside piece, and we're gonna grab this. So we're working with photopolymer stamps right now. They're completely clear, see-through. They do tend to take on a pink undertone once you start using them, and that is quite all right. They will not, that's just how it goes. So I have Mary Merlot open here, and what I like to do, especially if you're newer to stamping, it's good to practice. I try to teach people to practice stamping. And a sanding block, I used to smooth the edge when needed. Oh, yes. Okay, Corinne, I get what you're saying there. Corinne says she has a sanding block. And so if it's slightly crooked or whatever, you could just sand it and make it shorter. That's what's good with sanding paper. So I practice on the bottom, get a good feel for it. The main thing is to make sure you get good ink. With the foam pads with Stampin' Up, you do not need to press very hard. You just want to tap, tap, tap. Hi, Lorna. And then when you go to stamp, you guys, it's so important. Go straight down, go straight, give it a second, let it marinate, and then come straight up. Don't rock stamps, and don't be afraid of it either. I sometimes will have seen people that are just a little afraid, and they will stamp very like that. And if something like that happens, then the middle doesn't get stamped. You really just have to give the ink time to transfer to your page. I hover over the top until I get it exactly where I want it. It's really easy to do that with photopolymer. Red rubber, you can't always see that, but I'm hovering over the top. I'm trying to center it, and once I feel like I have it right where I want it, then I just go straight down. Give it a second and let the ink transfer to the paper, and you should get a nice, crisp, stamped image. Okay, so that sentiment, I love it. I have to remember that this sentiment is in this set because it's perfect. Because life should be celebrated. At this day in the age of where we're at, life should always be celebrated. Okay, so we need crumb cake for our pot. So we're gonna grab crumb cake and we're gonna make a pot down here. So there are 2 pot stamps here, you guys. In this set, there's a more solid one and then there's a detail-y one. We tried using both of them and we're like, yep, we're good. It looks great just with that one. So we're just going to ink up the pot here, and I'm going to go a little bit more to the right because what I'm planning to do is put these flowers on, and they hang over the edge slightly, so I don't want to be too close to the edge. I'm going to put it over to the left a little bit, and so that stamps the pot. So the dirt, there's a little stamp that has the dirt on it, which is so cute. So the little dirt is in, hi Jody Storman. The dirt is in soft suede. Soft suede is a perfect dirt color, you guys. So this little guy is the dirt. He comes in the set right here. And what you just have to do is make sure the smooth line is the bottom and then the bumpy is the top. So you can look at it and be like, okay, well, does it need to be first or second strength? Stamping off once is the first strength and then second is the second. So I'm just going to hover over the top till I get it where I want it. And it's so cool, it makes it look like there's dirt in it. Okay, so that's it for the soft suede. Now we come back to the Mary Merlot. So I'm gonna put this down here just in case. And there's 2 stamps for the flowers. Oh, Diana, first time viewer, thanks for watching. So you have a more detailed stamp and then you have a more solid stamp. The solid one is what I would do in second strength. And then the more detailed one is what I would do in first. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So when you use the more solid, I want to do second strength. So I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'm going to put it on here. And it's a little bit lighter than what it would have been at first strength. Now you have all these detailed flowers. Hi, Deanna Style. And they're going to go over the top. There is no exactness with this. Like, you're not going to get it lined up. You're just going to kind of guesstimate where it needs to go. And what happens is you can see that there's a little bit of light underneath and then there's a little bit of dark over the top. Oh, thanks, Donna Simmer. You're amazing. Hi, Yvette Smith. Yay, your first live too. Woohoo. You guys, I'm catching a bunch of you girls for the first time. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for our inside. We've got our outside stamped already. So now we can just set this stuff off to the side and we can get what I call glue happy. So if I'm going to be opening up my glue bottle, I'm going to maximize it, right? So we can flip over 3 things and put glue on all of them at once. Hi, Sharon Land. So I am a liquid glue girl. I didn't start off that way, but after years and years of hating like tape runner, yeah, I don't care what brand it is, I'm not a fan. So I've gotten really good at using liquid glue. I've converted a lot of people to liquid glue. So you've got this liquid glue back here. What is awesome about it is you can just set it down, and then you can kind of be like, oh, let's see, you need to go here, and then you need to go down here, and you can wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You have about 10 seconds, and when you get it where you want it, then it's there. I have found with tape runner, well, and tear and tape. I love tear and tape for certain things, but tape runner, once you kind of set it down, if it's not where you want, you can't wiggle it where you want it to go, and then you end up ripping it up, and sometimes you rip your paper. So the longer you let this dry, the less wiggly it is. So you do want to get to it right away, not let it sit. But it allows you, like right now too, I could pick this off and reposition it. So, but I'm good with letting it be here. So liquid glue is my adhesive of choice. And so now these two can get flipped over. Where's my card? It's not even in screen here. Here, you guys. I always like to have the card there. I didn't realize. So now we're going to open up the glue again. And we're going to put some more adhesive, liquid glue. So when I say adhesive, everybody has what they like to use, right? When I say adhesive, it doesn't matter to me what you use. Just use something to help your card stay together. If you wanted to use dimensionals on this piece, you could have as well. Now the inside, and get that right. That goes in here. So this is the double matting. Now you can kind of see how cool it looks that you have the Mary Merlot designer paper, and then you have the Mary Merlot white. So it just makes it for a little bit more structured card. Okay, so now we have that little label piece, all right? And the ribbon is only this long. So it's like, well, how do you make that work? Well, if you're new to stamping, you probably can't be spending all this money buying all these different things. So I've learned to be very conservative with my ribbon and my paper to make it last a long time. Not the adhesive so much. Like I would rather use more adhesive because that is more, I guess you could say it's inexpensive and you get a lot more of it, like it doesn't run out as fast. So I prepped 2 pieces here, and what I'm gonna do is pick off this. So tear and tape is a double-sided, very sticky permanent tape that comes on a roll, and I use it a lot with ribbons. And so I've got here an end, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna catch the end with the tear and tape, just that much, no more, like about 1/4 inch. And what you're gonna do is make a loop, catch the tear and tape, and come back, right? That's it. Now you need that spare tear and tape, and that's gonna go right over the top of that. Okay, do you see that? Now grab your ribbon scissors, and you can just cut the end at a diagonal. You see that? We only used about 2 inches there. So now you have the other side, and now you cut that at a diagonal. So you already have your diagonal end, which is awesome. So what you can do is leave the diagonal, and I'm gonna flip it so the point is like that, because it kind of matches that one. And now what you're gonna do is bring this back, and then make your loop like that. And make sure it sticks, and that's it. See that? You had just enough to do that. You did not waste any ribbon. I mean, it was 4 inches, and so you could get a lot of use out of that ribbon, that roll of ribbon. Now this ribbon too is the one that's the Hair Sand and I think Old Olive with that Happier Than Happy set, and you only get 5 yards of each one versus 10 because there's 2 rolls. So here's the thing. What I would do with this now is leave my tear and tape. Oh, thanks, Lynn. I would leave my tear and tape on here, and I would put dimensionals everywhere else, because that, if you take the tear and tape off, it's gonna wanna stick your corners down flat, and I wanna have everything popped up. So hopefully you guys can make that work with your ribbon. If you feel like you can't get it to go like that, you could always just do your ribbon a little different. You could weave it all on one area and just keep it on the bottom, but hopefully that works for you guys. And I like the big dimensionals, and so I will just put 4, and that will be plenty for popping this up. And again, I'm gonna leave the tear and tape as is, not taking that off. Again, because I'm popping up, if I take that tear and tape off right here and here, here and here, it's gonna wanna stick flat on the card. So We're gonna put this guy, oh man. Oh. So do you see how they're different? So that flower, so everybody has, like this kind of is a continuous piece, and I could get 3 mats out of one side, and I got 3 mats out of the top side. So I'm sad though, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to cover up that flower. So instead of putting this here, you got a choice, right? Where do you want to put your sentiment? So this is where, think about it. Like, okay, well, do you want it there or there? I do like it at the bottom because I'm going to put some butterflies up there. But instead of putting it right over smack dab on this flower, I'm going to move it over just slightly. And then I can see my flower kind of popping out there. Now, again, they're not all going to be that way. I think that, it's on the board over there, but they're all kind of like the yellow is different, you know, so you can see this blue's got here. So they're all slightly different. So just figure out where you want to put it. And then with these guys, you should have 4 large butterflies and 5 small butterflies. I'm going to just use all small ones for my cards here because I need to save these. I have class this week, and we're using all of these big butterflies for this card right here. This is what we're doing Thursday night, and I got a big butterfly in the bear's hand that he's catching it. So I'm definitely going to just use small butterflies on my class cards that we're doing here with you guys today, which is no worries. And that one's going to go there. And then we need one more. I'm going to put it right on the label. So the brushed brass butterflies are a great addition for this card for a little embellishment. So for those of you that are new to me, I try to put ribbon and embellishments on every card. It doesn't always happen. Like for Thursday night, we're doing this card. There is no ribbon on it. There are embellishments, but I didn't know where to put. I do have an idea. I'm going to do it live, but I didn't want to do it as part of the kit. But I'm going to show you where I would put ribbon on here if I could. But again, it doesn't have ribbon, but it looks good without it. So that's it, you guys. Was that not an easy peasy card? Very pretty. So you have to remember, like, designer series paper is what can make a card look so beautiful without putting a lot of work into it. And so I bamboozled. Who did I bamboozle? Tammy Sikolik was here. I think it was Tammy. And she asked about how was all that stamped, and did you do a lot of masking, and how did you get it so perfect? I'm like, hi, Marcia from Michigan. I said, it's the paper. And again, that's the Awash in Beauty Designer Series paper. So very pretty, but very simple. I definitely agree. So there's one card for you guys already done. So we'll just set that there and move this over here, and we'll grab the next one. So we're going to work our way up to the next to the next card here. Same color scheme though. We have the Mary Merlot with Mossy Meadow and crumb cake, the cakes of the crumb. All right, so my envelope has definitely seen better days, so we're gonna actually toss that in the garbage and say goodbye to that one. I think it served its purpose over the days. All right, Mary Merlot is your base, and people ask, like, so when I score all my bases for everybody, whoever does a card kit with me, per Naughty Nancy from probably 2016, she asked to have me score them, and it just is something I've always done. So it especially makes a difference when we're kitting up, because you guys, what we do is we'll fold your cards and put them in your kits. But people ask about it's like the valley and the mountain. I personally like the mountain to be on the inside. So like this is the mountain. Now, the next person might tell you it's another way. And honestly, I always go by what way it folds better. Hello, Anne from Sweden. Thanks for catching us. It's pretty late for you, I bet. All right, so there's your base. Again, it's a vertical card. So we keep our papers vertical. That always helps with stamping. In your kit, you guys will have your inside mats. Again, double matted, Mossy Meadow, and the basic white. Okay, so that'll be for our inside. Now there's a crumb cake piece here, and it looked kind of stark without anything. So it's hard to see it until up close, but you can kind of see there's some texture along the side. And we actually used the flowers to do that, the more solid one. And so that's on the crumb cake. So we'll have to stamp that. And then you'll have some mats, a Mary Merlot with a basic white mat. You'll have a little scrap of white in your kit for the pick. So by the magic of TV, Mine is done already, but I will stamp it so you can see what to do. It's not, oh, not so late. Only 9 p.m. Okay, yeah, you got hours to go. I'm usually not in bed till midnight or 1 kind of girl, so 9 p.m. is still early. And then you have your piece of designer paper. So Karen Wetstein, kudos to her. She always reads my PDFs because she makes extra card kits. Because if she's going to make the kits, she'll make extra. She noticed I did not have the measurement on here, so I had 5 1/4 and then the by sign, or like I didn't have the 2 inches. So just know, everybody who's doing this class, I'm going to send you an updated PDF that includes the measurement for this. But this is 5 1/4 by 2, and that'll go over here. And then again, you'll have some butterflies in there. So we need to do a little stamping, and actually a bit. So let's grab out those 4 pieces actually, and let's do some stamping. I always like to get the stamping done. So instead of starting to glue, I mean, sometimes I get a little glue happy, but I always advise, like, get your stamping done, because if something doesn't turn out good, you can always flip it over and use the other side. So what do we have? These stamps are already dirty with the Mary Merlot. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to, this is our pick, and we need early espresso for that. So let's grab early espresso. And again, they're photopolymer, so it's good to have the piercing mat. So we'll save him for in the time being. And we're going to do a pick first. So the pick, I used early espresso, and that little pick does come in this set. It is adorable. Okay, love it. So you're going to just stamp the pick on your scrap of white. Now, if you have a scissors and just want to fussy cut it, you can, but there is also a die for it. So if anybody's doing this class and you happen to have the dies, there's a little die for the pick. Oh my gosh, you guys, you see that label right there? If you're wondering, that's the label. I just showed you guys the Abigail Rose card here. That's the label I used. I was designing, I think I just finished designing with Diane, and then I did these next. And so that, I'm like, oh, the label's perfect for that. Okay, so the label is an amazing one. And no, I'm not always live on Mondays at this time. I am live on Mondays, the second Monday. I do Let's Just Stamp. It's usually the second Monday of the month at this time. So not every Monday, just the second Monday. So like next month, I think like it'll be the 12th. But I have a schedule. If you go to my website right here, cardsbycrispy.com, if you go to the newsletters and blog section on my website, the first PDF in the files section is my PDF schedule. That is a printout. I don't know if I have a copy of it really handy, but it's a paper copy, and you can check that out. Or just go to my events calendar, the second Monday of the month. You can see, it's always these Let's Just Stamp cards. I do it that second Monday. Okay, so smile. So there's some cute little stamps in here, guys. There's smile, friend, just for you. So pick whatever you want and find a cute little sentiment that goes in the inside. I do like smile. These cards are going to be one. I do randomly pick winners to win the cards I make in my Facebook Lives. And like that's how I have the ones I said that we'll be giving away soon. The ink, paper, scissors from last week. Oh, you're very welcome, Anne. So I like to try to use universal ones here. So we're going to do smile. Now, again, by the magic of TV, I die cut this already, or fussy cut it, right? Fussy cutting is more ideal because that's what we're talking about, not doing die cutting. Oh, you're very welcome, Linda. All right, so that's ready to go. So on this one, I worked from the bottom up because I knew if I stamped my flowers too high or too low, my pot wouldn't be grounded. And I like my pot to be grounded, meaning not floating in outer space. Oh, thanks, Lisa. So crumb cake is the pot again. So let's grab that. And I might just show you guys, in case you're wondering about this pot thing. So I'm just going to grab this. We used this and we weren't so excited about it. So let's just hang on. Because I want to show you, because in case you're wondering about, well, what does that look like? So this is a chamois for those that are new to stamping. It cleans off your stamps really nicely. I keep it in a case like this. It does dry out eventually, and so mine is hard on the outside, but it's soft in the middle. I need to rehydrate it. I do not clean my stamps with wet wipes. Wet wipes tend to leave little white fibers on my stamps, and I don't like that because then they get into the ink pad. So what I just want to show you, this is first strength, that's second strength. And so you can see one's lighter, one's darker. Some people refer to this as generations. So first generation, second generation. So this is some detailing, accenting. So if you do that on this one, you can kind of see that it adds a little shading. But by putting it on the one, hi Karen Wetstein, and if you put it on this one, you got to make sure you get it lined up good. I was off a hair, but you can see there's more shading, and we're like, that really doesn't add a lot to it unless we're missing the boat on what colors we're supposed to be using. We just felt like stamping it like that looked pretty nice. So that's why we didn't use this one at all. And you're welcome to like use it, and that's what it's for, is to accent the pot, but we just couldn't figure out like what color scheme would look good with it. So we didn't really use it. But that's what that's all about. So I wanted my pot to be a little grounded on the bottom. So I'm going to stamp that first near the bottom, just like that. Okay. Now there's the dirt. So let's grab our soft suede back with the dirt mound. And so soft suede. And remember, the humpy part goes on the top and the more smooth line goes at the bottom. This dirt, just, I love it. It makes it like a pot full of dirt, like I'm ready to go plant some flowers. All right, so that's it for those two colors. So you're gonna need a Post-it note though for this next part, because we gotta do a little masking. So the colors are Old Olive in first and second strength. So this is two-step stamping when you have an overlay. So we have the detail and then we have the more solid image. I generally usually, yes, stamp the detail and then I follow with the solid afterwards because I can just fill it in because I know where to go. So the detail is going to be at first strength. And if I go to stamp this and get the leaves exactly where I want them, you get a little tail. You get a little tail on your pot, and you don't want the tail on your pot. Hi, Millie Kendall. So what you need to do is put a little Post-it note there, or you need to put a little piece of washi tape on here, right? Either way, it doesn't matter. Or you just don't want ink on the stem. It's not the tail, it's the stem. I get it. But it was funner saying tail. All right, so ink that up, and you're just going to stamp that. I'm just going to get a little more in detail, right? I'm going to center left to right as much as I can, get it going straight as much as I can. And I've got it so that leaf is down there. So let's see how this stamped. Let that ink transfer to the page. Oh, so I had a little ink on my corner right there of my block, and I can see, we're gonna put a butterfly right there. You guys, I got a little ink from my corner, but it's okay. I think we're gonna be fine. We're gonna put a butterfly there and life goes on. Owari obada. All right, so this one. I don't like to, so this is second strength, and I don't like to stamp off over the top of another color because sometimes that color does get picked up. So I generally, I'm using little scraps here. You guys, these are old stuff, little scraps of paper. So I'm gonna just ink this up, stamp off, and then line this up right over the top. Once you get one side lined up, go all the way around, get that side lined up, and then once you think you have it, check back at the beginning because sometimes it fluctuates and moves away from where you had it. So, hi Shauna Burns. How are you, my friend? You have a birthday later this month. I just scheduled your birthday post. All right, so there's that. What happens then is you take that Post-it note off, and now it's perfectly planted in the middle of your dirt. Boom. Love it. Okay, so let's clean these. Oh, you guys, we forgot to do our inside. So doesn't that always happen to you? Okay, so we're gonna clean this, and we're gonna go back and recap and get our pot. Where did I put? There it is. Always in front of the nose, under the nose. That's where stuff is. When you can't find something, look right under your nose. Okay, we're gonna go back to this right here because our inside has a little birthday. A little pot. All right, yes you do. August 27th. I think that's your day. So I wondered when I was writing up your birthday post, because Shauna's on the Be Happy Stampers. Deb's birthday's coming up too. It's the 26th. You guys, I was on my A game this morning. I scheduled all the team's birthday posts for the month of August. And so I thought while I was doing it, I'm like, I wonder if Shauna's taking off for her birthday. I wonder if she's got anything exciting planned. Deb always has exciting things planned. And I thought, Deb, I thought back to your birthday last year, and I met you down at the winery the day after your birthday for dinner. And so, or for lunch, I should say. That was a whole year ago. I was in Centerville, Iowa for the work old job. Okay. All right, so now we're back and caught up. So we're going to proceed with doing our flowers on the top. And so with the flowers, same thing. We did the second strength and we did first strength. And Corinne's is the 21st, August birthdays. Yeah, my brother Mike's is the 18th. My friend Marlise's is the 13th. So yeah, we got some birthdays. This flower, okay. If you want to put a little more onto this card and spice it up so slightly, you could do something like what we're doing in the next card, where we stamped it and then cut it out and then popped it up. You could do that if you wanted. So we didn't though, because we wanted to keep this one a little more simple. So I'm just gonna stamp these two on the top here. And then the solid, oh, Pam Simmons was yesterday. Happy belated birthday. Melanie Howes was on Saturday. So Wendy Ellison's is coming up on the 13th as well. Woohoo, you guys, lots of August birthdays. All right, so then there's the outside, right? So that's what we got for the outside. Remember, we're putting a butterfly right on my little spot there, my little love spot. But we're gonna come over here, and as long as we've got this ink open yet, we're gonna do one of these on our pot, and we're gonna do the second strength. And again, I like to stamp somewhere where it's fresh, not over other colors. Even the same color, I wouldn't do it. So go like that. So now we got our pretty little pot. I think we did a double whammy. Look at that. We made that pot really full of flowers. So how do you do that? Let me just do more. Catching you live for a few minutes. Hi, Terry Costin. I think you sent me an email. I saw it come in and I haven't responded. I'm just gonna pop another little section right on the top of that one, you guys. We're gonna have a really full pot of geranium flowers here. Oh, Marcia's is Thursday. Marcia, your birthday card went in the mail. I think you should have gotten it already. All right, so we made a double stacker of our flowers in this pot, right? It's a really good one. Tyler's been feeding this plant egg juice, so it's very robust. Yes. Oh, I love it. You guys are all wishing birthdays to everybody. Okay, so that's it for Mary Merlot. Oh. So let's clean up the stamps because we're going to be using polished pink for the next, set of flowers. That's good. That was cleaned. All right, so that one, and then our dirt is good. So I think we're going to do a little assembly action, guys. So remember, we can get a little glue happy here. So we're going to glue this one. We're going to glue, oh, you guys, we're not done stamping. Hold up, wait a minute. So we talked about this crumb cake piece, and it's got that on the background. That is with the cakes that are crumb, made up of crumbs. And it is second strength. And so what we're gonna do to make it happen is this part gets covered up and this part gets covered up. So there's no reason why you can't do that. And then second strength. Stamp off, second strength. Stamp off, second strength. Stamp off. Oh, you did get it last week. Awesome. Yeah, my mom, she helps me to work on the birthday cards. And I was on my canoeing trip, and she got them in the mail for me. Hi, Becky Gandolfo. All right, so you guys don't worry about that at all, because you know why. This is going to get put right there. But ultimately, I was trying to get some decoration on the side. Now, all right, we'll catch you later. 80 on the 20th. Her granddaughter is having a card party for if anyone wants to send cards. Perfect. Thanks. That's awesome. Now, if you think that might be too dark, you could have even done something else, like 1, 2, and then gone at third strength, right? Because third strength is still pretty dark. So let's see what side looks better. We're going to do 1, 2, and put that there. Since it's crumb cake, I'm just going with it and putting it over the top. If you have scrap paper on the side, you could have definitely used that. We're going to do one here. This is just to give a little bit of texture around the edges. So we forget to sometimes create a background texture. Now you're thinking, what is that? That looks horrible. I don't blame you. I'd think the same thing too. So you're going to put this here. And when we put this here, you can kind of see it adds a little bit of texture. Now that was second strength. So let's flip it over and see what third strength looks like. Third is a little less obvious, a little more subtle. And I didn't do the side over here. So I think I'm going to do that side and go with third strength. So what we'll do is continue going here, and then we'll do one there. It just creates this background. And you would never think to use the top of the flowers for the background. Oh, thanks, Sue Somerville. You're awesome. All right, so all we did was create a little bit of texture around the edges. So now I think that has everything we need to be stamped. So let's look at this again. One thing we mentioned earlier is checking your paper to see if the heights are good. Sometimes when I cut designer paper, I would say usually I cut them a hair longer because I'd rather have them be longer and trim them than they be shorter and then you have not enough and you got to trim the mat. So what I would do on this is I would glue this to here and then we'll use the scissors to trim it off. So now we can get glue happy. So we need glue, and glue. So that's the three things. So let's go ahead and open up the glue and we'll adhere all three of these things onto their corresponding mats. So this one is our inside mat. It will go on. Just be careful, you guys. I mean, I've been doing this for a number of years. I don't get glue in things. If you're not good and you get things into each other, like if that green paper would have flown into this, that would have been a hot mess, okay? So you gotta be okay with gluing things and not getting your papers flying all into each other, right? So the flower is gonna go here onto this mat and there. And then this one, there is a direction to it. So I'm gonna flip it this way because the plants or flowers have a direction that way. So that will go, and it's got a little margin of the crumb cake. All right, try to get that straight and then flip it over. You see how much I got extra there? That's a lot extra. So get that cut off. In case yours is that much too, cut it off. Use the crumb cake as a guide. All right. One thing that I would have recommended doing before gluing the white down is making a little, like a slit or like a slice for your pick here to go in, and I completely forgot. So we're gonna have to cut through two pieces. So if you haven't put your kits together, I would do this before putting it on the Mary Merlot, but I would just take your paper scissors. Don't cut your finger. If you have an X-Acto knife, that would work too. But I'm just gonna hold this and I'm putting my hand here underneath where the slice is gonna go as leverage. And I'm just going to poke with my scissors a little slice. Okay, you can see in the back, I made a little hole. If you don't have your Mary Merlot mat on, it's gonna be so much easier to go through one piece of paper. Hi, Susan Hendricks, no worries. You can always catch the beginning from when you do the replay, Susan, no worries. I'm gonna put a little dimensional on here, and then we're gonna poke the pick through the hole, okay? So again, not having the Mary Merlot would have helped, but it was definitely possible or doable with, so I'm pulling that little tail through there. I mean, you could cut it off and then glue it, but this way, it's like it's actually in the dirt. So this is gonna come up like that, and you can tape that if you want, but honestly what I'm gonna just do is put a little dimensional right over the top of that, and we'll be good. Okay, so let that set for a second, and we can get more glue happy here, and a little bit of adhesive there and there. This one's the top, so that goes right there. And then that will be our innard right there. All right, now you can see that there's a little bit of ribbon woven on the back side here, and that is the complementary ribbon to the old, so it's the Sahara sand, and it's complementary to the old olive. They're part of a ribbon combo pack, and I think you have about 10 inches in your kit, which should be plenty. You'll need to grab, of course, the tear and tape. Right there. You guys couldn't see it. It was off camera. So you're gonna grab tear and tape that reaches all the way from one end to the other. Okay, if you rip it off a little too long, just fold it back. You don't have to worry about cutting it. So take that off. We call this the lamb technique. It could be called something else, but Kelly Lamb, my cousin who helps me with my marketing and cover photos and Facebook and pictures and all the good stuff, she did this a lot, like 2 years ago. And so every time we do this kind of a weave, we call it the lamb technique. So I'm a right-handed person, so I like to hold the ribbon in my right hand, and I like to start on the bottom, kind of, if it's like, it's either the top if it's on the right side, or I start on the bottom if it's on the left. But I catch the tail with that tear and tape right there. And what I'm gonna do is weave it up. And now the bigger that you make your loops, the more your ribbon you're gonna use. If you make them smaller, you use less ribbon. So 10 inches should give you enough, depending, if you run out, you're gonna start over. And I'll show you what I mean if you run out. So like, let's say you're doing this, and this is not looking really good, but I'm just exempling. If you make really big loops, you're gonna run out really fast, right? So just pull it off, right? And start over. But ultimately, I like to watch it from the front, and I feel from the back. So I know that that tear and tape is there. So my goal is I'm using my finger, and I'm pressing into the tear and tape, and then I'm bringing it right back up. And as I catch the next tear and tape, I'm weaving the ribbon down like the edge of the mat like this, right? So we're over halfway now. And again, it's being held with the tear and tape. You're gonna get to the end, and if you do them like that, 10 inches should be exact. If you're a little short, just kind of finagle your Humpty Humps just a little bit, right? So you've got that weaving back and forth, but that's not gonna stay. I remember the first time Kelly did it on a paper pumpkin card. It was a baseball card from May of like 2 years ago. I came home and I saw the ribbon was kind of like all falling apart. You need to follow up with a piece of tear and tape over the top so that it holds it. So go and put another piece of tear and tape right over the top of it, right? In this case, I wonder what I did. I actually used the tear and tape and actually helped secure it to the card. That ribbon, and so here it's hanging over, so just take that and flip it back is what I mean. That ribbon is pretty thick compared to like a dimensional. It's about the same. So by pulling that off, I'm gonna add some dimensionals onto this, and we're going to pop this up. And remember I said I was just gonna cover that guy up with a dimensional? So there, that's what our back is gonna look like. Hi, Linda Hunt. All right, so let's pull all these guys off. And that goes right on here. What I did is kind of center it top to bottom, left to right. And we need some butterflies. Oh, we missed Stella on the cards. We'll have to go back and figure out what we can Stella. So remember we said the butterfly needs to go over. Oh, the extra ink that was there. And then I've got one I'm gonna put over there. And this one we're gonna put it, I like them not to be in a row here. So Or maybe put one right there, flying that way. So you guys, I have some Leatrice, and they're purple and they're tall, like 3 feet tall, and we had a swallowtail butterfly on it last week. We caught it. It was like this big. It was so cool. Oh, I can show you guys actually. Here, watch this. We took pictures of it in my camera here. I have to share these with you. Let's see here. Hang on, lots of pictures. So look at that butterfly. So this is my Leatrice that's out in my perennial garden. The butterfly was huge. Look at that wingspan on that thing. It was like that long, like maybe like 5 inches. So cool. So yeah, very cool that I had lots of big bumblebees out in my flowers as well. Super cool. So Stella, you guys, oh man, Stella's gonna be hard on this because if you go over the ink, it's gonna make it bleed. So what I might suggest on this is just doing the perimeter. You could definitely Stella up. If you're new to what a Stella pen is, it's like a little glitter pen. It just adds a little bit of sparkle to your card. And you can't catch it in the camera per se, but you can definitely catch it when you see the card in person. And so I'm just gonna put you can do designer paper, no problem. On this last card, what you could do is Stella up your flowers. Because they are painted or like they're printed on here, no problem, it's not gonna bleed. So there we go. Yeah, all right. So you guys, we've got our second card done. Hi, Stacy Warner. All right, 2 done for today. Boom, all right. We have 1 more to do and we're working our way up to this last card. So let's put this over here and grab the kit. So this one, you guys, will have fun. These are like nice, bright, summery colors. Love it, love it, love it. So in your kit, when you open it up, you're gonna have 2 of these white brads. When I did the original card, I used the black ones. And the more I thought about it, I actually preferred the white. So I didn't change the picture for your PDF tutorial. So what I did is I wrote in the PDF tutorial, use black or white, because I think that they look good either way. So just know that that is one difference from the picture, is that you have 2 white brads instead of black ones. And by the magic of TV, these are done already, which is awesome. Let's see if I have the other. In your kit, you'll also have a little bow, a little baby bow. I've already made it for you. So when bows are on cards that are kits like this, I always make the bow and put that in your kit. Your piece of designer paper. Oh, thanks everybody. So far, this one, I think you're gonna love this one too. The designer paper is 3x4, so it's a nice size. And that will mat onto the white piece, which mats onto a polished pink piece, like that. You're gonna have a piece of white in your kit that looks like this. You're gonna need that for stamping your flowers and your leaves and your pot. So we'll keep that here. You have 2 pieces in your kit. This piece of craft is for the top of your table. And then you have, I think, something like this size. And what you're gonna need to do is cut it in half. That's the table legs. So I've already cut mine in half. You'll need to cut yours in half. 4 inches of the natural finish ribbon. And again, you're like, well, how is that possible that she's got 2 coming out of each side instead of 1? Again, cut it in half. I actually cut it into 4ths. So Terry Costin, I always say when somebody says that they changed their mind about getting something, that the joke is I say, well, then my work here is done. All right, so this is our crumb cake, which is our bottom mat. And then on the inside, you're gonna have a polished pink with a white mat and our balmy blue for our base. So, got a lot of stuff going on in this kit. So, what we did on the inside is the same thing as the other cards. We're just gonna do a pot with some flowers. So let's get our stamping done though. We're gonna need our inside piece and this piece. And this is also for your pick too. So trust me, you're gonna get everything on here, I promise. I hope that you do anyways. If you follow my lead, you will. So, all right, going to these dies real quick. When you stamp the pot, it does not include the dirt, but you could also die cut the dirt separately. So when you stamp the pot with the dirt together, you're not going to be able to die cut them as easily. You have to fussy cut them actually. So just a note on that. So we need crumb cake, which is here. And the crumb cake pot goes on our inside, bottom corner. And we need a pot. And we're going to tuck it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to tuck it in the corner just like this. Okay? Oh, man, we can't do it like that. We need dirt. Okay, we got to save a little room for the dirt, okay? So we're going to put it a little bit away from the edge, okay? All right, trust me. We'll make it work. All right. Oh, Patsy, hi. You can't catch for full-time viewing, but you can always catch the replay. So here's the dirt. So let's put that on over here. And our dirt goes here. So I don't know if you guys caught what I just said, but now that the dirt is stamped on the pot, you have to fussy cut this. If you would have stamped the dirt and the pot, the soil and the pot separately, if you had the dies, you could have die cut them out. Okay, so let's do this next because this is our greenery. The detail, so it's pear, nope. This is old olive. We don't want the olives that are old. We want the pizzazzy pears here. So the pears that have pizzazz, that's our detail this time. And we're gonna need to get that out of here, our pick out of here, and our flowers. So watch and you shall see. So our pear pizzazz, I'm gonna put that, I think, we're gonna put that like, oh, I know, I'm gonna go like this. We're gonna go like that, okay? Oh, good, I'm glad you catch the replay. That's always good. All right, so there's the detail. Now, our solid one is gonna be in second strength again. Gotta get a slip of paper here. So don't worry, I won't ruin that one. So we're gonna just go second strength, and that's gonna go right here. Goes like that. And it's like you get one side and then you got to get the other side and then you got to go back and check the other side to make sure you didn't move it. All right, so that's the stem leaf action. That's it for the pears. Now, polished pink is what we're using for the flowers, and we need a pick yet. So our flowers, were they in Mary Merlot? Nope, they're clean. Okay, so polished pink, and we're gonna do the second strength, and we're gonna put that up here, and then you're going to do the first strength on the detail right here, and then we just need our pick yet. Now the pick is in Mango Melody, which I did not grab. One moment. I don't know, we picked Mango Melody because it was a nice cheerful color again. If you don't have Mango Melody, use any other color. Wow, I haven't opened this guy for a little while. He's got the not good stuff going on. Have you guys ever get that happening to your ink pads where that doesn't look good to me. I'm actually not going to use that. So Stampin' Up! Has a few colors that have that wonkiness that goes on with it. Mango Melody is one of them. And if you can see, there's like this weirdness going on. Yep. So, and there's little things that are forming over here. Definitely not going to put my stamp in that. I'm definitely going to call Stampin' Up! And explain to them. I got this pad like maybe 6 months to a year ago, but that I believe is like a mold. And that does have a tendency of happening. So it doesn't have it on my one upstairs in my craft room, but yeah, I'm not going to put my stamp in that. If that happens to any one of my customers who orders stuff through me and you get that on there, and it was like, I would have to say they've been good within like the last year, they will replace it. So I am not going to use that ink pad. I'm just going to pull out my marker and I'm going to color my marker. I'm going to use the marker. Hi, Cindy Beestrom. I'm going to use my marker to color that instead because you can use your water-based markers to color your stamps and it gives you pretty much the same impact. And so we're going to stamp Mango Melody. It's a little bit not as bold because I might have had espresso on there, but we go with it. So let's see here if that guy's clean. He looks clean. So we're gonna do polished pink with this. They've been having the issues, I have to say, about that mold. It's happened in blackberry. You know, I don't like that yellow. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna cut, so this is the how you guys fit everything onto that white piece of paper. Trust me, it all fits on there. And either you can go die cut them, if you're gonna die cut them, cut all your things apart like this, and then take them to your machine and cut them, or fussy cut them. But I want to get this guy a little bit more yellow. Yeah, Susan, it happens. It sure does. I was gonna say Mossy Meadow, it can happen to, and Mossy Meadow and Blackberry Bliss is another one. So I didn't realize that my stamp was dirty. I just did a bad thing. I got espresso ink a little bit in my marker, so I am just running that out of my marker. And we're back on track. So we just inked that up. So Laura, are you saying that your Blackberry Bliss has that happen to it right now? If it does, you just call Stampin' Up. Like, because if you ordered that through yourself, just call Stampin' Up and they will send you a new one. And honestly, they might say to you, well, is it 3 months or newer? I'd be like, no, your ink pad shouldn't do that at all. And I don't like that one either. Hang on, you guys. I'm not having luck with, I don't think I cleaned my little, stamp so good. Let's start over. So I honestly, you know, you just be nice, right? And just say, no, I know I need it. And did you just, I think I asked a couple questions, Laura. I'm not sure which one you're answering. I don't know if you are saying, did you just get it? Or did you call Stampin' Up? Oh man. But if Stampin' Up says, you know, it's over 3 months, because their return policy or their exchange policy is 3 months, I would say ink pads should never have mold on them. And they've always been so good about exchanging them and sending me new ones. I wouldn't say if you got it 3 years ago, there, I finally got that to where I wanted it. All right, just like that, okay? So if it's been 3 years or 2 years or 5 years, I'd be like, no. But if it's something you got within the last year, it shouldn't do that. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the smile now. And, oh yeah, it's already inked up. So smile's gonna go in here. All right, boom. Now I can say by the magic of TV, all of my pieces are die cut for me and or fussy cut, whichever you want me to have them being done with. So they're all here for me. Yay. Flowers though. So we need to do this at second strength right here. And if you want a double decker and do it too high, that works. And then let's make sure I stamped off there. Do you notice I got ink on the corner of my block? If you see that, I try to sometimes take that off, but just try not to rock your stamp, and you shouldn't ever have that affect you, but if you rock your stamp, you'll have that. So there's our flower power. Boom. Okay. I think that might complete our stamping exercises for today. All right. So let's get our glue happiness on. So you guys are gonna have fun. We're gonna make this little table. Okay, so all right, let's see what we can glue. So this pick doesn't need to get cut into anything, so there's no slicing, so it just gets kind of slid behind the pot. So we don't have to worry about that for this time. But we do need to glue this. We glue this, and we can glue this. All right, so let's get those 3 things added to our card or to their mats. And then this one. All right. Oh, okay, so Laura, you just need a new Blackberry pad. Okay, it doesn't always happen. I can't tell you why it doesn't happen. And it doesn't happen all the time. So I couldn't tell you what makes it happen. So this is my inside. So that's gonna go here, like this, you guys. So that will go here. All right, this one is so this is that DSP or Designer Series paper is from the Awash and Beauty. It's got little flowers on it, so do kind of try to pay attention to what direction it's going. All right, and then the crumb cake can go onto the card base like this. And we're not done getting glue happy. So we could glue this. Oh, that wiggled on me. Oh, let's wiggle that back. See, I got time because I use liquid glue. I can wiggle, wiggle, wiggle with it. Like that. Okay, so now these two things also can get glued. Hi, Joanna Bistine. All right, so there's that. And that. So this one goes on our inside. The balmy blue with the polished pink. Oh, yeah. So bright and cheerful. A fun, nice summer card here. So this will go on here. All right. So, well, let's talk about the ribbon. So you have 4 inches. Ultimately, what you need to do is cut it into 1-inch sections. And I have a ribbon scissors. So what you could do is just fold it in half like that and cut it like that. And then what you could do is fold this in half and cut that and cut that. So you could have used 8 inches of ribbon for this card. You really could have. And it would have made it easier. But by cutting it into 4 1-inch sections, you use half the amount of ribbon. All right, so what are we gonna do? You have 2 options. You could either glue your ribbon right onto here, or you could put it on the back of here. I think what I'm gonna do, I don't remember what I did there, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to glue it onto my crumb cake. So I'm gonna put a piece of tear-in tape near the center, like that, peel them off, and I'm going to, I guess if you like to use a ruler to have things kind of measured out, just know that the mat is at 5 1/4, so at 2 5/8 is kind of the middle. Or if you're just an eyeballer, you could wing it too. So, because you can always move them if you think they need to get moved. So here's the one. This is where then you could use the ruler to have the top and the bottom kind of aligned, like that, right? And then you could put the next one. Now, if you're like, oh man, now I measure it, and you're like 2 inches, and then there you're like 1 3/4, just lightly pick them up and move it down a little bit. So once you get it set, and then you're happy with it, then more like press it down. But now I'm at 2, now I'm at a little under 2. So this is me just eyeballing it and then checking it. So something like that. Okay, so then I know that this one needs to get moved down, and then this one can go right here, and they do overlap slightly. So gotta move them down. A little bit of finagling. If you had one full piece, you know, you just run it across, but because we're doing 2 pieces, so just look, when you put this on here, you aren't really gonna tell if one's slightly lower or higher, right? So, does my ruler have 1/8 inch measurement? Oh yeah, this guy does. It's metric on one side. I got this at Menards. It has 1 inch and 1/8 inch, and then it has a 1/16 inch on that side, and then it has metric on that side. So yeah, it's got all the way to 1/16. It's just a steel ruler. I think Tyler gave it to me actually. So I'm gonna move that guy down a hair and then overlap. Okay, so we've got these guys on. Now what you could do is secure them. You could put this tear-in tape right over the top so that they're stuck. Hi, Francis Rodriguez. I did get your text message last night. I got to reply to you, girl. I hope you're safely traveling, though. All right, so let's trim these. All right, then this is going to get popped up with dimensionals. So let's use some of these side pieces. You know, we like to use those up so that they don't go to waste. I'll sometimes leave them for when I have a track that I need to make, but this time we're just going to use them up. And we'll put these guys here. So let's get this. So that's going to cover up our tear-in tape. So I'm not going to peel that tear-in tape off. one more right there. So then this will go right, now make sure your flowers are facing the right direction. And then that will go, you want to make sure your tear-in tape was far enough in too that you don't see it. All right, so something like that. If you look at my card over here, you can see the ends are frayed. And you can do that with this ribbon by taking your pick tool and just kind of pulling that threading out, just like that. We're gonna do that on this side too, on both of them. Now you gotta get your scissors out though. You don't wanna leave it like that. It looks like a mop top from a chicken rooster head, right? So you gotta trim it up. So get that off of there and then trim up the other side. Give it a nice little haircut. Oh, the rooster on my parents' farm. Oh, it has the mop top and the hair that goes in the eyes. My friend Gina was out, and Gina's a hairdresser. My mom asked Gina to give the rooster a haircut. Oh, Gina's never cut a rooster's hair in her life, and so my mom held the chicken while Gina cut the hair out of his eyes. So it was wanting to always go across the road because it couldn't see, and so my mom was afraid it was going to get hit on the road, and so she had read that you can trim the hair of the rooster, like the mop top that goes over. Hi, Jennifer Jones. So I just thought of that. That just happened a couple weeks ago. That was funny. Okay, anyways. Oh, man, you guys, that was hilarious. Gina was like kind of like not excited about doing it because I thought she was going to hurt the chicken, but you don't. That's hair. They have a hair. They're feathers, but yeah, so she trimmed off like that much hair, and now the rooster could see. Oh, that was funny. Okay. So we have to make a little table. So we got our card base really good, you guys. We've got our pieces there. We're getting there. We have to make this table though. And if you're like, why did they design this card? Why did they make this so complicated card? So we have to share with you. Sometimes it's fun to see where we get our ideas from. So what is this called? Potted Geraniums. Potted Geraniums is on page 58. If anybody looked in the catalog to see this once we started, you're gonna be like, oh man, they cased that card. That's the card we looked at, and we absolutely loved the little table effect. So that's basically where we got our idea from this card, or for this card. So what's the easiest way to do this table? Well, you guys, this is like, what is this? 3/4 inch? 5/8. It was 5/8 by like 2.5. That was the width of your tabletop. And the little legs are like 3/8 inch by 1 inch, something like that. So they are slanted, right? This is you guys, you got to make your tables. I did not cut these pieces for you. So I'm going to show you how to do it. There's a little slant here and there's a little slant here. So they're both slanting, that way, but then they're the same piece just flipped over. So what I would say to do is take your two pieces that are 1 by 3/8, take your scissors and you're going to cut them at a diagonal. So I know I have mine to look at for a guidance, but I'm just going to take it both at the same time and cut them at an angle like this. Okay, so both at the same time. So what happens is one can flip over and now they're at the same angle. So when we go to make our table, that is that and that is that. Okay, so what I'm going to say to do is you have two options, I guess. You could try to cut the bottom and guess, or what I did is once the top was all glued together, I trimmed the bottoms to be even with the bottom of the pool party, or the Balmy Blue designer paper. So I guess let's leave it for right now because I think this is what would be easier. And so you've got your one table leg here, and don't worry about the bottom, it's not right. So, and this one's here. I would definitely glue them together just a little bit, and then, or like a glue dot, something. And then what we'll do is put our brads through so that it's set. So what would be easiest? Probably a little dot of liquid glue. And you guys might hate this. I'm not certain. If you don't like this, you really don't have to do this. You could put the flowers on and have it put it right on the card and it would be perfectly pretty. So what I did is the peaky is on this side, and then about halfway up, I just put a little bit of liquid glue and I'm just gluing that one leg on. So it's kind of set. I'm not relying on the brad because the table doesn't move, right? Your legs aren't going to move. So I want to just make it easier for me to glue or to put my brads on. So then this guy's going to go right about here. But you guys didn't know you were making a table today. All right, so there's that, right? So I'm trying to make them be even, and that pointy is in the middle. Diane's gonna have to do this for in person. Oh man. Okay, so don't worry about your legs. So like right now, the table that's big. It's okay. We're gonna use our scissors and we're just gonna use the blue as a guide to cut them in a little bit. But all right, now we have to get our brads through there. I would use the pokey tool. And you're just gonna take, I'm gonna hold it and not have my finger where I'm gonna be poking the hole. But if you had a piercing mat like this could work really nice for this. I mean, you might get a little baby hole in it, but if you just take your awl or your pokey tool and you poke right down the center of it like that, you'll get a little hole. And then you could do the same on the other side. And if depending on these brads, they might need a little bit, oh no, that's perfect. Look at that. Forget the legs and make a shelf. There you go, Jean. Absolutely. But if you want a table, this is how you do the table. I don't know how you could definitely use a little shelf, make a shelf. You guys, it's your card. Completely up to you. Hi, Catherine Healy and Deb. If you want to go through the work of making the table, it is definitely awesome. And if you guys think it's too much work, it's up to you. Your call. So there's our table though. That's it. I mean, that's really went into it. Just don't poke your finger or hurt yourself in the process. So this is popped up with dimensionals. So I'm going to put the dimensionals right over the top of those brads too, so they don't move around on me. And we're going to use the edges here as well. And we're going to put them on the legs right there. I wouldn't do it too close to the bottom though, because remember we are going to be cutting some off. Hi, Naughty Nancy. Naughty Nancy, I was going to tell you, I never got back to you about the tables. And the real tables, the 8-foot tables. I don't know if you guys are available after class. If you want to come and get them, you can. So table's super cute, you guys. So what I would do is put this on, and you've got about a 1/4 inch blue showing here, and it's just centered left to right. And now what you can do is take your scissors and follow that blue designer paper and just trim them flush. So something like that. And I'm going to do just a hair more. There. So now you've got your legs set, okay? And then the pot is popped up with dimensionals. And I'm going to put a couple of them on near the bottom. I am not going to pick off the top one though. I'm going to leave the bottom ready to go. I'm leaving the top one off because I want to be able to slip the stem behind there. So this pot now goes on here. You got to be careful. If you put the dimensionals too low, it's going to be crooked on your table. So what you're going to do is kind of make sure your dimensionals don't go where the table is. And then this one, oh, thanks, Melanie. It seemed harder while I was thinking about showing it to you, but I think it came out the way I wanted it to. Oh, yeah, Jean Maxwell, great idea. Run the table. If you guys have the timber or a wood grain embossing folder, you could definitely give the table some wood grain texture. That would be amazing. Definitely like that idea too. So there's that one. And we're going to do one more right there. So now because I didn't take that dimensional out of there, I'm able to slip this guy right underneath here so that I can kind of line it up where I want it. The flowers need some dimensionals as well. So let's get them popped up. Now, I only gave you enough white paper, I think, to do one set of flowers, but I've seen pretty cards that have 2 bunches at the top. We were just kind of keep it more simple. And so we have one of them here. And then your pick needs, oh my gosh, you guys, the sheet is almost gone. Let's just get rid of this and do a double whammy on here and get rid of these dimensionals. So back from the bank. And Penny, you didn't take my stuff to the bank. I need to run the bank. It's been 2 weeks since I've been there. So this little guy now, because we didn't take off that dimensional, we can kind of slip that right in here as well. And now that we have these things in here, take that dimensional off, and now it's nice and set. So you have a little Bosie in your kit from me. You are going to take a little glue dot and set that bow right in your, on your pick right there. I don't know what that was called. I was on the PDF, you guys, I referred to it as a pick. Grab your ribbon scissors. That's paper. I lost us scissors in the interim. There it is. Okay, this is my real ribbon scissors. So trim your little tails. And there's our ribbon. Okay, so you should have three butterflies left. I'm gonna use the little guys again so I can save my big uns. So I'm gonna put one there, and one can go there, and then una más. Right there. Okay, so Stella action can be, what can we do? Oh, our table. Let's Stella the table. Oh yeah. Make it a little glittery table. So now you guys can see the difference. So when you buy the brads, you get 4 of them, 4 different. You get 2 large in white, and you get 2 large in the black. And now you can see the difference. And everybody's kit, you got white. Executive decision, because I had a lot of white ones, and I think I used these on a Give It a Whirl card many moons ago. And so I thought that the white looked nice too, so we got white with it. Yeah, so that's it. That's like, so the table wasn't so crazy. Hopefully by watching me do it, I should probably put in the PDF that you should probably watch the video. That would help. I'm guessing that would help for people. So whew, you guys, let's get this little mess out of the way, and we're going to come back and show you all the cards that we just made for Let's Just Stamp. Hi, Patricia. Oh, I should say Pat. You go by Pat with me. All the cards are beautiful. Love them. Thanks, Doris. So we did our Easy Peasy Designer Series paper one first. Then we went to our stamping, and then we went to our one where you had to do a little fussy cutting or die cutting if you had it. Favorites for everybody. I guess there's something to be said about easiness with Designer Series paper, and when you have a paper that is like that, it speaks for itself. But oh, yeah, this one's more springy summer to me. This one is more going into the fall. I love the balmy blue with the polished pink. I do, I really do. So, and we learned about our ink pads that might have issues with them. We talked about masking. We talked about different types of scissors and different adhesives. I hope it was great. If you guys are brand new to stamping or relatively new, hopefully this taught you some different tips and tricks for making cards. Oh, thanks, Holly Gentry. Thanks, Susan. Color them with a Sharpie. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, that is the best tip right now, Julie Bierschbach. So everybody got white brads, but if you do prefer the look of the black brads, Julie said use a black Sharpie. Oh my gosh. Perfect, Julie. So you could make them black. Even after you put them on here, you could color them black. So yeah, great tip, Julie. I love it. So I'm curious, Julie, did you make yours black or did you leave them white? Either way, the card is pretty regardless of what color brads you are. So with what color brads you use. Again, you guys, I do have an abundance of these kits left. I overmade by a bunch. I wasn't sure if people were going to sign up in the last week, and I didn't know if people needed to see the cards actually made to make that decision. Oh, Melanie used a brown Sharpie. There you go. Brown would be really pretty with it, more neutral. If you guys are looking for these kits and you're putting in an order, or if you want to pay for them, it was $20 mailed or free with a $45 order. I have plenty. So if you're ever uncertain if I have kits left over after a class, you can always check. You have to make your card later today. Okay. I'm curious what you're going to do. I would use a bronze Sharpie. That would look pretty. If you want to get this and you look back at my schedule, which is on my website under the newsletters and files section, you can always see what past classes are still available. And you could always see it there. So yay, we did it. Good job. All right, so these cards, I'll announce the winners for these cards probably a week from now. What I also have to do with the next class, we're going to give these fun folds away. So that they always stay here. But let's do drum roll and announce the winners. So this was the ink, paper, scissors, a wash and beauty from last week. No more kits left of this one, you guys. If you want to watch the tutorial or the video or get the tutorial, they're both available. The video is out there in my video section on my website or YouTube. If you want to get the tutorial, it's on my online store. But this was the gourmet card. I love it. So this winner chicken dinner is Miss Pat Detlefson. Woohoo, Pat. I have your address. I know where to send that to. This one goes to Cynthia Watasek or Wotasek, Wotasek. Cynthia, I need your address. If you're watching or if you know Cynthia, let her know she won. This one goes to Laurel Boucher. Boucher? Boucher. Laurel, I don't have your address, so if we could get that, that would be awesome, or if you know her. Rory Sears, Sears. Rory, you're the winner of this beautiful card. So Rory and Cynthia and Laurel, I need your addresses. Pat, I have your address. So this will go onto the pile of I know addresses, and when I have a moment to write out the card, I will definitely be sending it to you. And these girls, if you guys know them, let them know so I can get their cards in the mail to them too. All right, so we have sale-a-bration board number 7 full, and I saw Jamie Tafoya and somebody else just placed an order this morning. Off the top of my head, I blanked out on who it was. But Sherry Martin, you placed an order over the weekend. I got you on the previous board. We did that drawing. I think you placed your order Saturday right before we did the drawing. So I got you on. And then Carla Lake, you placed orders right after Sherry. And the board filled up because I got a whole lot of orders on Saturday between in-person and my friend Gail Kane. So we're doing board number 7 already. And so I'll get, Jamie, you got on once. Jamie, I got you 1 square here, and then I got to put your other name, because for every $50 per an order, you get your name on the board. If you do $100, you get 2. If you do $150, you get 3. Oh, Linda Rios, ha ha ha. I just remembered when I thought about the dollar amounts. So Linda Rios, I'll get your name on the next board. And we're just going to keep going until it's the end of sale-a-bration. And if there's a half a board for the end of sale-a-bration, we will do a drawing for like a smaller gift certificate. But with every 25 names that get on the board, I do a $25 gift certificate. So we've had 7 winners. Oh, we've had 6 winners already. Only 1 is cashed in, but I got to connect with the other ones to cash their prizes in. So I'm going to flip the camera down, and I've been stirring these with my hands. So I have 25 little slips here. This is definitely not a random number generator, but I could do it. This is the old school version. I've had these slips for years. We just keep using the same slips. All right. Da-da-da! Drum roll! Number 14. 14 is Gail Kane. So Gail is going to be very excited. She won a $25 gift certificate. She has her name on the board a lot. So she put in a really nice order. So I wasn't surprised if she was going to win. She's got half the board, I think. So that's exciting for Gail. I will have to let her know that. She is not on technology at all. Nothing internet related. So she will get a personal phone call on that one. So congratulations, Gail Kane, though, in case her daughter Crystal's watching. You could also tell her that. So yay. Okay. All right, so I mentioned on Thursday that scavenger hunts, we're going to do that tomorrow. That'll happen. I am going to be stamping with Diane tomorrow. We are making, tomorrow on our docket is we're going to be working on the Let's Just Stamp for September and October. We're going to work a little bit ahead, you guys. So at some point, probably after Diane leaves, I will come on live and do the scavenger hunt review with you. I'll figure out an easy tip. If anybody's got an easy tip that they want me to share with people, you just let me know, and I'm going to throw an easy tip in with the scavenger hunt. We'll go through all the answers and then announce who the winner is. Hi, Pat Thomas. So, yeah. So that's tomorrow. Wednesday is, for if you're in person with me and want to attend, we got the monthly class. at 1 and 6. And then Thursday night, you guys, I didn't show all the cards for Thursday night, but this is what we're doing Thursday in case you guys want to watch. And I still have kits available for this one as well. So we got 3 different cards. You really only need a sentiment, a sentiment, a sentiment, a bear, and an owl, or something else that could fulfill the roles of these 2 critters in the forest. A deer would work too. Like if you have peaceful deer, you could put a deer running through the forest. So that's Thursday night. And then Friday, I'm off. I don't have anything Friday. And we will be kitting up on Thursday, you guys. Abigail Rose and Sale-a-bration Hoorah Rah. So you want to make sure if you want either of those 2 classes, it would be outstanding if you could let me know by Thursday morning. If you let me know after and I have kits available, that's great. They just might not arrive to your doorstep in time for class. As long as I have kits available, I don't mind sending them out. But the goal is to kit them up and mail them by Friday morning. And then yeah. And that should be almost everything except for ink, paper, scissors. And that will go out the week of the 22nd though. So there's time to sign up for almost everything. Just make sure that you let me know sooner rather than later so I can plan for it. Is that it? I think that's it. I got club class tonight. And I'm going to be working on stuff all afternoon. So if you need to reach me, I think, give me a text, give me a call. And Penny Powell, I'm running to the bank. I thought of you. I got to run to the bank too this afternoon. So, all right, you guys, it was great stamping with you on a Monday afternoon. If you caught any or bits or pieces of it and you need to watch it, the replay will be available momentarily on Facebook and within like the hour for YouTube. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. Yeah, Becky has it right. And everybody that congratulated all the winners. I love giving out as much as I can here. And I just love it when people say, I never win anything, and then they win. And I love hearing that because everybody should win something at some point, right? So, oh, you're very welcome, Randy. So you guys, lots of sunshine, love, and hugs to you. Bye as well. Love you long time. See you later.